I got a title loan to go on vacation for spring break.
So now that it's over, I can finally tell my story of how I got scammed out of $20,000 this weekend at a Houston club.
It is unbelievable how expensive it is. Goodness, you have to take out a second mortgage on your home just to go skiing.
So apparently, Americans are going into debt for spring break. Let's find out why.
I got a title loan to go on vacation for spring break.
You took a title loan out on your car to go on vacation? You're kidding me.
I did.
To go have fun on spring break, what was it, $1,000, $2,000? How much was it?
I think like 3 or 4.
$3,000 or $4,000 to go on spring break? You took a loan out?
My dad still talks about me to this day because that was my first car. He bought it for me. And I had it for about 6 years and they took it.
What?
Huh? Stupid.
They took it. You had it made. And you went to go and fumble the bag. Honestly, you fumbled the bag quite literally. Why were you so hell-bent on going on vacation? You didn't have to, surely. Surely. I think that was probably the most expensive vacation that you've been on. But all jokes aside, 3 to 4K sounds a bit hefty. You know, what were you spending that money on? Having said that, let's have a look at the average cost of spring break today. Damn, that's crazy. Just over $8,000. No surprises why some people are going into debt for spring break. But I don't think you should be going into debt for vacation. If you haven't got it like that, simply don't go, or go somewhere that's cost effective. We'll talk about that more later in the video, so stay tuned. But I think it's important to do things within your means because this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. I lived in the States for many years. I lived in Miami, actually. So granted, I didn't have to travel for spring break most of the time because most people came to me. But I did spend some spring breaks in other states and in Cancun, Mexico. And I never broke $2,000. This was in 2015, 2016, so a while back. But even then, people are spending 4 times more than what I did. And I had a whale of a time. I had a blast, trust me. So $8,000 sounds crazy, but that's nothing in comparison to what this guy paid.
So now that it's over, I can finally tell my story of how I got scammed out of $20,000 this weekend at a Houston club.
He sounds way too calm. Honestly, if that were me, I'd be punching the ceiling right now.
Just give me 1 second. I got all the proof. So we booked a section for like Saturday and they were like, it's 4,000, it's 4,000 for the section and it comes with 2 bottles. It's 4,000 for the section and it comes with 2 bottles. So we were like, cool, we'll get the 2 bottles and we got like the 2 bottles of Don Julio. And her name was, I think like Alicia or something. So we texted Alicia, we was like, hey, we gonna send it through Zelle. And I like to pay for my shit up front because I like to stunt and I just like to walk in the club. So when we get out of our black truck, me and my homegirls, we just gonna pop out and walk straight into the club. And then our little photographers could take the shots or whatever, you know, pictures and whatnot. So once we get to the club, they're talking about they have no booking for us. So I'm like, what do you mean there's no booking for us? We got the $4,000 section, blase, blase. You know what? Let me just pay it because I know the girl. So she would just send it back because we just talked to her before we pulled up. So she would just send the money back. She said, oh, my bad. You know, I'm thinking that's what she would do. And she would just send the money back. Did she send the money back? So we get to the door and we're like, I'm showing them my text messages on my phone and my deposit and all that type of stuff. And they were like, well, Alicia quit. Alicia quit yesterday. I was like, I've been talking to her today. We already just texted her and told her we're on the way. And she was like, cool. And I said that. I showed them that. And they were like, well, she stopped working yesterday. So they say, only thing we could do is try to get you another section and you're gonna have to pay an additional $4,000. I paid it. I didn't want to fight with those people at the door. I didn't want to make us look like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want to make us look crazy. It's a group of us. We just got out of the black truck. The paparazzi guy we booked, he just started taking pictures and it's looking like a moment. And now you're telling me that in this moment, I don't have a section that I paid $4,000 for, and I need to pay another $4,000. I was like, cool. So I paid the other $4,000 because I know we would try to get that stuff back from the manager or whatnot. And I have all the receipts. So we get in the club, an hour and 30 minutes go by. they're telling us that our time is up and they sold the section again.
Oh my days. There's no way. This has to be the donkey of the year. There's no way this can be true. First of all, you're 4K down because of appearances, not because you wanted to have a good time. Notice how he never mentioned it. Flexing culture sucks. Honestly, liberate yourself, free yourself from it. There's no winning. Unless, of course, it's part of your image and you're selling products or services on the basis of it. But if you're just Billy Nobody, like no one cares. No one cares. And I know it's easier said than done. I've been there in the past. A younger version of myself may have fallen victim to this. I would not have been spending $2,000 per bottle though, because you got 2 bottles for 4K. So you spent 2K per bottle. That's crazy work. That's crazy work. And look, I've had my moments as well. There was a time in Barcelona where they were acting funny on the door. So I just gave them my Amex and said, charge it, and walked straight to the front, walked in, no questions asked. I wasn't doing it for image or for photos. I just wanted to get in, skip the line, and avoid the headache that the bouncer chose to give me on the door. But being myself now, I'm just giving you my money after pissing me off. That doesn't even make sense. That's stupid. So all this appearance stuff, you're definitely not winning. Somebody else is winning, the person that's taking your money. You need to liberate yourself from it, and your money will be invested better elsewhere. Is 4K on 2 bottles a good investment? You're going to piss that stuff out the next day. To me, it's nonsensical. It doesn't make sense. You're better off investing your money in something that can yield a return, or somewhere at least where it's safe, where you don't lose that 4K. But as I said before, I've been there in the past. Sometimes your ego gets in the way, but you need to learn how to control that, because you're going to end up the biggest loser. And this is also why some people end up in debt, because they want to do image and show instead of actually looking after what's truly important. I think one thing we need to take away from these videos is that the juice typically isn't worth the squeeze. And there's always a next time. There's always a spring break next year. There's always another vacation. There's always something else to do. The world isn't running out of events. You don't have to do everything now if you're not in a place where you can do it. And he's making this video because he took a financial hit. It certainly hurt him. If the 4K was nothing to him, or the 8K that he burnt in the course of one day was nothing to him, he probably won't be making this video. But the fact that he is shows me that he's not happy about this financial loss, and he kind of needed the money. I'm inferring here, right? I could be wrong. But if you ain't got money to lose like that, don't be spending it willy-nilly. Look after it. Look after it. Because if you don't, this is a cold world out here. The world certainly isn't going to look after you. It's funny because he was prepared to spend 8K on a night, right? And does that look like an 8K apartment? Madness. Madness. This is a madness. But with these sorts of prices, there's no surprise that people are actually going into debt, especially those that feel as though they need to show a certain image or portray a certain lifestyle. And we've seen it with the increase in credit card borrowing, personal borrowing, and buy now, pay later. And to be honest, I don't think any of this is going to end well. But it's not just Houston that's expensive. Listen to what this woman has to say.
Looking at impromptu spring break options for my family, and I am floored. So I was looking at 3 different options, like maybe a cruise, maybe Hawaii, which is a straight shot. We live in Denver. We've done that pretty much every year. Or we could do something different, and I'm thinking more affordable, and just go skiing, like drive into the mountains. We don't have to do airfare, and we can go skiing. Why is that the most expensive option of the 3? Like, when people say that skiing is a rich man's sport, they are not lying.
I mean, obviously. Have you been living under a rock? I'm not being funny. I'm not understanding this surprise. This is a globally known fact. It's interesting that you chose to do this activity as an affordable spring break activity, with a key emphasis on the word affordable. I don't think it was ever going to be affordable, but let me let her cook.
Like, it is outrageously expensive. So I was looking at the lodging, thinking we could drive. I'm like, okay, that's not that expensive. I mean, it's not cheap, but it's what I would expect to be within range for a spring break trip. But the lift ticket costs and the rentals and all of those things, we are not avid or regular skiers or anything like that. So this would be a one-time thing. It's outrageous. How does anybody afford to do that? Thankfully, we at least have like the snow gear and the outfits and everything, but It is unbelievable, skiing is, how expensive it is. So we're not going to do that. We'll do something else that's more affordable because, goodness, you have to like take out a second mortgage on your home just to go skiing.
Don't do that. Not a good idea. Don't take out a second mortgage to go on vacation. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. You'll be paying for it in the future, quite literally. Now, look, you can go on cheaper alternatives. You can just wait and or revisit the idea of vacation. I think we're going to have to revisit the idea of a lot of things in this society because the way the economy is looking, the way inflation's looking, the way the cost of living crisis is looking, the way unemployment is looking, and the way future employment prospects are looking, we're going to have to revisit a lot of things. And it's not fair. I know it's not fair. But unless you're making a killing, you're going to have to think about these things and think about them deeply, because the alternative is to borrow to fund these outgoings, but then you're going to have to pay for it in the future, which looks very uncertain. But if you must go on vacation, be sure to do it in a cost-efficient manner.
Okay, so these girls right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, these 5 girls are getting backlash because they rented one of these for Houston spring break weekend. Hear me the fuck out, okay? The smartest shit that I've ever heard in my motherfucking life. Because y'all said they was down there stealing Hellcats and Chargers and shit and taking tires and shit off of shit. They not gonna take the motherfucking tires off this U-Haul. Them motherfuckers is gonna walk right past this U-Haul. They not gonna think about shit on this motherfucking U-Haul. You wanna know why? Cause it don't look like it's expensive. $19.95 is what they paid for it, and I commend them for paying for this motherfucking U-Haul to party in.
Same here, honestly. Hats off to them. Thinking outside the box, getting creative. Personally, I wouldn't do this, but sometimes in life, you got to get in where you fit in. And if that's where you fit in, do your thing. I can't knock the hustle, honestly. I can't knock it. You've got to do your thing. And this way, they actually have money to enjoy the vacation, because there's nothing worse than being broke whilst on vacation. That's the sort of thing that leads you into debt, to borrowing. And then you come back home even more stressed than when you left. And you're stressed whilst on vacation. You don't want to be in that situation. So if you haven't got it and you can't go somewhere, either don't do it or downsize and do what these guys did. Because the last thing you want to be is broke on vacation. Trust me.
I'm broke, so let's go to Miami and spend money. Yeah. Because I deserve a vacation. Yeah. And do this every single year. My life will never get ahead. Yeah. Because I deserve a vacation. I should have fun. No. You don't deserve shit. You don't deserve no fucking vacation. You're broke. Don't be sitting here wondering why you don't have shit, wondering why your life stays the same every fucking year and you're taking vacations and all this shit and you ain't got no money. You don't deserve a vacation. And that's the type of mindset you need to have. You need to tell yourself that I don't deserve a fucking vacation. And maybe if you get that wired into your brain, you will do something. You will make some changes in your life to where you start making some money to where you deserve a fucking vacation.
Yeah, he's not lying. He's not lying. He's cooking. I know it's hard to hear, but sometimes in life you need that tough love. Look, I've been there before as well. You may be feeling down, feeling sorry for yourself, and you think, you know what, let me treat myself to this thing or to that thing. But sometimes you just need to forego it, keep your head down, grind, and wait until the moment when you actually can. Now, the future isn't promised. I know some of you are going to say you only live once, etc., etc. But if you really haven't got it like that, don't lie to yourself, because you're the one that's going to be paying for it in the future. In any case, what would be interesting to know is what you guys think about this video. Let me know down in the comments. Feel free to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I shall see you in the next one. Peace.